This is Noah at Endler Arc. We're working through history of Endlers. Today we're on the classification system. It's actually number 4 in our list, and what we're going to go over today is the classification system that has been used and also the one that will be being used on the way going forward. Endlers came into the country in the 1970s all the way through about 2011, and they came from different collectors. First collector that worked was Armando Pugh. Really good guy, nice guy. He collected in the 70s and into the 80s, and everything that he collected went to a distributor in Florida. And the distributor in Florida was a young guy and probably not overly experienced in in dealing with a new species and a new product for the pet market. But they came up with a system, and they use N, K, and P. N-class Endlers are ones that can be proven that came from the wild. K-class are ones that have the phenotype and they look like real Endlers. They look like the right ones, but you can't prove it. You can't prove if there's any guppy blood in them or not. And then P-class is basically hybrids. Even if it looks like an Endler, but it's not an Endler, and you can't prove that it's Endler. This class system, and it's been going on for a long time, and with just the Campona Endlers, which is what Armando basically brought back with him, it worked fine. The problem came in two ways. First was in the 2000s, Philip Vaison from Europe went to Venezuela, and his corporation and his family and him, they collected Endlers in the Campona area. And the Campona area is essentially the floodplain from where Armando was collecting his. Floodplain channels, drainage ditches, irrigation, that kind of stuff. And Armando, I don't think really got into that area. I think he explored everything, but I think there was so much in the main lagoon and so many different varieties that he really didn't have to look much further. So when Philip started developing his and releasing his, the person that was in charge of the Endlers in the United States decided that, well, those can't be. Those are not Endlers. They're not the same as my Endlers, so they can't be N class. And that really brought a lot of controversy and a disconnect in the industry and with all the people that really love Endlers. Philip, when he collected his, he took them to Europe, put them in his fish room, and he bred them, and he did an unbelievable job. If you look at the Endlers, the Campona Endlers, ours, which all came in the end from Philip, you'll see that they're beautiful, but unlike the Kumina Endlers, they are no longer polymorphic. They don't change all the time. The breeding was so good that it literally, for instance, blue stars, all the males are blue stars. You don't get some that have different mixes. You have blue stars. Silverado's the same. El Tigre's the same thing. Philip is a master breeder. I would love to meet him. I would love to talk to him because what he did with those was second to none. Very, very, very good. But we had a problem then in the Endler world, and that was that we had two people that had Endlers. They both want to say that they're real Endlers and they're pure, and they probably are, but they don't get along and they don't want to work together. The distributor in the United States that got the Kumina Endlers, who helped develop the system, the N, the K, and the P class, he did not want someone else to have Endlers that he didn't have. So of course he did not allow Philip's Endlers from Campona to be called N class, K class, or anything. So it's kind of funny in a way when you look at eBay and you see people that have blue stars and they're pure blue stars. They look great, but they say in class, and they're not in class because Campona Endlers can't be in that classification system by the way that the rules were written. Now, one of the reasons that this was a big deal was money. At this point, there was one place. There was one place in the world to get Endlers and to know that they were real Endlers. So the system was made so that, quite frankly, you couldn't find Endlers anywhere else and know that they're pure unless you got them from one person. And that was done intentional, and I don't think it was, it definitely was not good for Endlers in general. When we came on board, we did not work with the distributor in Florida that received everything. And we also went around and we looked, we analyzed, we took a good look at everything. Now, in the defense of the first system that was put into place, Kumina Endlers are polymorphic. They change all the time. The Campona ones have been bred that doesn't go on anymore. So they don't. That's a big difference. That's a big difference. Now, some of the behavioral differences are very, very trivial. They act pretty much the same. You can interbreed them. You can get some weird things, but you can interbreed them. What we did at Arc BioRite and Endler Arc, what we did was we looked at the circumstances and we decided that the system really didn't work right, because when you think about N-class being proven as coming from the wild, every fish can be proven that it comes from the wild because all fish come from the wild. So really the ploy that you have to buy N-class Endlers from one person, that's just something that we don't believe in and we don't do. So the Campona Endlers are very, very nice. I like them very much, and I'm very impressed with everything that Philip did. We wanted to include them, right? And rightfully so, because they are Endlers. So our classification system and the system that will be going forward in the Endler Breeder Association when the website is released, we classify the Kumina Endlers as pure Kumina Endlers. We classify the Campona Endlers as genuine Campona Endlers. Now we walk into the hybrids. And there's a lot of difference in the hybrids, and the hybrids are huge. There's probably more hybrid Endlers than there are Endlers in the United States for sure. But you have basically two kinds. You have hybrid Endlers that now breed true, like Santa Marias, like the Tigers. And you have hybrid Endlers that you get a wild card. You get all kinds of different things. And anytime you mix a guppy DNA with Endlers, you're going to get some weird things. A reason for that is we did a lot of different things with guppies, and to get the tail and to get some of the things that people liked, they had to really delve in to the female DNA and what her genes put in, whereas Endlers are pretty straightforward. You breed a virgin female Endler, Campona, Kumina, doesn't matter. You breed a virgin female to any male, and the babies will look like the male. The F1 generation for sure would look like the male. It's a trait that probably was the same with guppies, but it got lost. So our system moving forward is going that direction. When we get into the hybrids, we identify them as static hybrid guppies or hybrid Endlers and dynamic hybrid Endlers. Dynamic being the ones that have not stabilized yet, and you're not going to get the same ones each litter. Static are the ones that, like the Santa Maria, you breed Santa Maria, you're going to get Santa Marias. That's the system that we go with at Arc BioRite. It makes sense. It makes sense. And as we release the Endler Breeder Association, those will become more clear, and we will go so far as to set standards and to try to stabilize part of that industry, so that there's not as many wild cards going on. I laugh when I look at eBay, because first of all, probably 60% of the people on eBay got their Endlers from us, and those breeders generally know what's going on. They label correctly. They do a good job. But most of the rest of them, you see all kinds of crazy things, N class, wild, all kinds of things that may or may not be true. But that's where the system's going on Endlers for classification. And I would have to guess that the Endler Breeder Association website will be up sometime in August, maybe September. If you have any questions, I urge you to give us a call, drop us an email, and don't forget to look at Arc BioRite. That's our food, and it's a great food. We developed a power food because as we were breeding and moving through things, it was impossible to keep everything healthy and to keep everybody nutritionally correct. We went through and we designed our own food. And as we sold through and as we did more and more business, everybody liked it, and I decided to expand on it. And if you look at the Arc BioRite site, you'll see that we bring everything in from 5 different mills, from special blends that we've designed and we made, and we blend everything by species here in San Diego. And that's a big deal. The reason why it's a big deal primarily is because of protein, because some fish just do better with different kinds of protein. Endlers, for instance, do much better on an insect-based protein. Guppies a little bit as well. But those are good things that are coming. The other thing to look for from Arc BioHealth, our sister company, we are releasing a diagnosis app that you'll be able to put on your phone, and you'll be able to look at your fish, match up, look at pictures, match them up. You'll get a organic way to fix your problem, to help. You'll get a medicated way to fix. It would tell you what to do, tell you what to do with the fish that's sick, tell you what to do with your tank that the sick fish came out of. It's quite elaborate. The good thing about the app, the great thing about the app, honestly, is that the discounts that you can get there on food is staggering. Our food is a power food. It's a great food, and it's going to be hard to match it for anybody else. I urge you to try there. Register with us so you can get all of our emails and all of our videos. Thank you so much. Keep them swimming.